In this video, I will teach you what CoWork is and how to use it. You will learn what CoWork is and the difference between CoWork, Claude Chat, and Claude Code. How to set up CoWork for the first time, from downloading and installing it to giving it access to folders and creating persistent instructions called skills, and using plugins and project structures. These terminologies will make sense at the end of this video. Different use cases and prompts you can adapt to get started, and the feature Dispatch that allows you to control your computer remotely using CoWork via mobile. Let's get started. If you are watching this video, I take it you have at least heard of Cloud CoWork and are interested in using it. CoWork is a tool that helps you use AI models and tools in a visually appealing and user-friendly way. If you have heard of so-called AI agents doing things for you with your computer automatically and autonomously, well, this is sort of it with certain caveats. CoWork lets you schedule tasks to run specific days and times, or run them when you need to. You can use CoWork to create presentations for you and email them to you via your phone using the dispatch feature. You can schedule daily research brief to be created and saved locally in your computer at specific times, and more. If you are super new to AI tools and AI in general, I would recommend for you to watch my video What is AI before you finish this video. CoWork will need you to give it permission to access specific folders and files, and whether it is allowed to read and write them. If you give it access to certain online accounts like, say, Amazon, it will be allowed to put items in a cart but not buy for you. As of yet, this may change in the future. The transaction limit is probably there to protect you financially, which is quite fair. Now, Anthropic, the company that created CoWork, has other AI tools, Claude Code and the traditional Claude Chat. What makes CoWork different from these tools? Well, CoWork is a more visually appealing and user-friendly version of Claude Code. The latter is a popular AI tool for coders and is usually used inside so-called Integrated Development Environments, or IDE for short. I won't be digging deeper into IDEs and Claude Code in this video. It's good to know, though, that Claude Code is optimized for coding projects and is run locally on your computer. CoWork is also run locally, unlike Claude Chat, and is quite similar to Claude Code in terms of how it's structured and functions. We will go through the similar features used, such as skills, connectors, and plugins, in another segment. Now, I know this is a mouthful in terms of new terminology, but bear with me. I also need to add that the Claude Code variant integrated into the desktop app is a more limited version of the one you would use in a terminal or IDE. I have a separate video where I go through how you can use Claude Code to create a project. So in summary, CoWork, Claude Chat, and Claude Code are all AI tools optimized for different kinds of tasks, where CoWork is targeted towards those who want a more visual tool rather than a code-based one. Let's get back to working with CoWork and getting you started with it. Let's get you started with CoWork. Go to claude.com/product/CoWork and click the Download Claude button. Currently, CoWork is only available as an app for desktop use. The desktop app hosts Claude Chat, CoWork, and Code, as I mentioned before. Before you even install CoWork, though, it's important you know that CoWork is not available in the free tier. You need to either have a Pro or Max subscription. If you still want to go ahead, create an account, log in, and set up your payment. You might be asked to log in again. Once you are in and the app is running, you should be able to see something that looks like this. Before we move on to the use cases, we need to get you acquainted with the tool and adapt some settings. This segment might feel a bit heavy, so if you rather first want to start off with a few use cases, just jump ahead in the video and come back to this segment later. It is 100% okay to get practical before starting to look into settings and getting to know the app more in depth. With that said, let's continue in the next segment with looking into important settings, what extensions versus connectors are, and a bonus walkthrough of LLM files called skills that help enhance recurring CoWork tasks. Let's start with looking at the various settings in Claude Desktop and CoWork. In the personal preference part, you can briefly describe your role, preferred tone, and output format. I talk more about how to prompt and prime chat-based LLM tools in the video Prompts Engineering. Now let's look at settings. There are a lot of them, and some are rather confusing, and do similar things. You need to activate a few of these to actually use CoWork, though. one of them being the keep the computer on one. If your computer and CoWork are not on, scheduled tasks will simply not run. Let's look at the extension settings and go through the difference between those and so-called connectors. Connectors are remote servers that connect Claude to cloud services like Gmail, Slack, Notion, and so on. They work across Claude.ai web, Claude desktop, and Claude mobile app. Claude desktop extensions, however, are local server bundles that run on your machine via Claude desktop. They're available only on Claude desktop for Windows and Mac, and give Claude access to your local files, apps, and system resources. So, in short, connectors are remote, extensions are local, all right? Another good feature to know about is skills. So many fancy words for simple things, right? Now, a skill is just a prompt saved in a text file that Claude Desktop reads every time you ask it to. You can have such text files or skills for various tasks like how to create daily briefs, what tone to use, information about you and your preferences, and more. You can see skills as reusable AI workflows. Now that we have gone through what skills and connectors are, it's time to discuss plugins that are combinations of skills and connectors. The connectors provide Claude-based tools outside of the Claude desktop app and combines it with your pre-written prompts in the skill files and activities. You can create your own plugins, but there are, of course, pre-made ones. Let's look at what the plugin library has to offer. We can try using the Finance plugin. Once you get used to working with the skill files and connectors, you can try experimenting with changing the files. For example, you can adapt the income statement prompt to be more tailored to your workflow and your country's way of working. As I mentioned earlier, CoWork is a productivity tool, an AI agent that can work autonomously by taking over certain apps and functionalities and do certain tasks for you. For integrity and security reasons, there are things CoWork is not allowed to do currently. We won't go in depth into that in this video, but there is more information to read on Claude.ai. I will go through a use case from the Ideas tab of CoWork, then go through a marketing statistic use case that helps analyze Google Ads and LinkedIn Ads data and suggest improvement activities. All right, let's click over to the Ideas tab and CoWork. Once you click on one of these, a predefined prompt is carried out. Let's try the landing page one. I am asked to provide more information, and I will actually reuse an idea I had for another video, creating a cat pick website using AI and Claude Code. I get another follow-up question about format, tone, and so on, and I tell Claude to be creative. The end result is quite impressive, as you can see. Now, this is only the design part. The website doesn't do anything yet, but quite impressive nonetheless. We could work through creating the code using Code tab, but I won't be going into website creation in depth in this video. If you want to know more about creating a website using Claude Code, check out my video called Creating a Website from Scratch with Claude Code. Over to our second use case, marketing statistics. I start off with the prompt telling CoWork that I need a brief comparing data from the previous week, include KPIs, interpret the result, and suggest improvement actions. The prompt is available in the video description if you want to try it out yourself. CoWork says it can't access Google Ads or LinkedIn Ads and suggests a few connectors to be able to do that. If you watch the previous segment and what connectors are, they include code that help CoWork carry out certain actions that it is yet not programmed to do. In this case, CoWork does not have capabilities to log into Google Ads and LinkedIn Ads by itself and needs a third-party tool to do so. As I am way too cheap to pay for third-party tools, I opt for downloading the CSV files manually from the respective platform and saving them in a folder for CoWork to analyze. Note that I, in the initial prompt, asked it for a so-called markdown file. Think of it as a simple text file. I changed my mind and want a dashboard instead. CoWork quickly pivots. I won't show you the dashboard as it contains my own Google Ads and LinkedIn Ads data. Try out the prompt and different designs, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. That was it from the use case segment. In this extra bonus segment, I will go through how you can control your computer from your phone by using the Cloud Code feature called Dispatch. This is a way that lets you handle CoWork tasks from your phone remotely. You can start a task from your mobile, then continue on your computer or vice versa. You will note that your prompt will be mirrored in both systems. To use the Chrome beta extension, you will need to install the extension, then connect it to CoWork by authorizing it. Let's look at an example where I ask CoWork Dispatch to open Chrome, look for my YouTube page, then take a screenshot. And that's CoWork in a nutshell. We covered what CoWork is and how it differs from Claude Chat and Claude Code. Same underlying model, very different use cases. We walked through setup, from installation and folder permissions to connectors, extensions, and skills. You now know that connectors reach out to cloud services, extensions run locally on your machine, and skills are simply reusable prompts files that shape how CoWork behaves on recurring tasks. Combine those and you get plugins. We looked at two practical use cases, a landing page generated from the Ideas tab and a marketing brief built from exported ad data, and saw how CoWork can pivot based on what tools and access you actually have available. Finally, we covered Dispatch, which lets you kick off and monitor CoWork tasks directly from your phone. The best way to get comfortable with CoWork is to just start. Pick one recurring task you do manually, write a simple skill for it, or a prompt, and let CoWork take a first pass. Iterate from there. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. Links to related videos are in the description. See you in the next one.